Hi, everyone. I know it's been a long time since we did a video, but I wanted to come on and share something with you really quickly um, about one of the ways or a way that I've been using programming to be able to make some personal tasks easier in my everyday life. All right. And there's one particular project that I've been working on that I wanted to share with you. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I wanted to show you that I know that there's a lot of concern right now about, well, is it easy to find a job? As a programmer or a coder. And if I can't find a job, is coding still even useful for me to learn, right? Um, so I would encourage you as you watch this video, think about ways that, maybe if you have certain tasks that you have to do in your personal life or daily life that are computer based, um, start thinking about as you're watching this video, are there possible ways that maybe I can use coding to make the task easier, even if I'm not getting paid to do it, even if it's not for a job? All right. And let me go ahead and explain today's example. So recently, I have been working on a new type of word game, like a word puzzle game. So if you like crossword puzzles, it's kind of similar, and it's called chained letters. All right, and the basic idea is that you have seven clues, and each clue there's an answer to that clue that's like a word or a phrase, right? And then at least in the form of the game that I'm showing you today, when you look at those clues, above each clue, you'll see some boxes that represent a letter, right? And let me actually show you an empty version, an unsolved version. So let me go ahead and make this a little bit bigger, right? So it's kind of like a crossword puzzle, right? So you've got your clue here. So the clue is underneath these boxes, right? And each of these boxes will hold a letter, right? So the clue is, all right, the category for this puzzle is pop music. And the first clue is this Latin star was living La Vida Loca. And it's asking for a last name. Again, so like if you saw this in a crossword puzzle, you would look at the crossword board. You would see, okay, what number is the clue, and then you would count how many boxes, right? And that's how many letters are in the answer. And it's the same thing here. So, the answer, the singer that did Live in La Vida Loca is Ricky Martin. And since it asks for his last name, it's six letters. So Martin. You would put that you would put that answer into the empty boxes, right? And then the twist is, when you see it solved, the reason it's chained letters is because the last letter of an answer will be the first letter of the answer to the next clue, right? So if you're happy and if you're this and you know it, clap your hands. So it's if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, right? That old song. So that ends in Y. So then the next answer will start with a Y, right? So affirmative, yes, begins with a Y. Same thing. The S at the end. So then the next clue is the man of steel, or an adjective for a number chain motel chain, right? A number named motel chain. So Superman is the Man of Steel, or Motel 6 is the chain that has a number in it, right? And it has to begin with an S because the previous answer ended in an S, right? So it forms like a chain all the way down from the first to the last. All right, so that's why it's chained letters. Okay, now that being said, what does this have to do with coding or programming? So when I was doing like the PDF printable forms of this game, so like you see here, this is something that you can open in your browser, and you could even, if you had the PDF or the link to it, you could even print it out and solve it, right? Or this could be like a nice little ebook or something like that, right? Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Other than just coming up with the clues, the big thing that took up a lot of time for me was that I make these originally. I made these puzzles by hand from scratch in Canva, which is like a graphical design program, right? You can go online, you can sign up for Canva, and if you have an account, you can uh, create like presentations and posters and documents and things like that, and make it look really nice, right? And for everything on this page, I had to place it. I had to put it on the page. I put out a text box. You can move it around. You have to lay it out however you want it, right? All of these different text fields are their own text boxes, right? Each clue is a text box, right? The copyright down at the bottom, that's another text box. So I had to drag and drop all of this stuff, all these text boxes in the places that I wanted them to be on the page, right? Each number for the clue number, that's a text box. And for each of the squares, that's a text box as well. And I tried to lay them out so that the text boxes were roughly equally spaced, and so that each clue and each answer and clue sort of combination was laid out at an equal distance, so it kind of looked uniform, right? And the other thing is that each of the letters for the answers in the word in the letter boxes, those are blank text fields that I ended up filling with a letter, right? So like Y, that's a text box. I move it out, but I have to also put it on top of the its corresponding letter box, right? And again, so you have to do it two ways. First of all, you have to do a blank version with no letters filled in, and then to do the answers, to show the reader what the answers are, you would go back and you would have to write all of the letters individually in each of these boxes, right? So it really takes a long time to lay all of this stuff out. And here's the thing, if I decide that I want to change the layout of this, like right now, the clues are underneath the answer boxes, the letter boxes, right? But what if I wanted to do it differently, where the like the blank boxes with where you would fill in the letters are on the left half of the screen, like in a column, and then the on the right hand of the side of the screen is where the clues are. You know, so that would be more like a traditional crossword puzzle, right? Where you've got the grid on one side of the page, and then the clues on like another side of the page, right? The other half of the page. So if I wanted to do that, then I'd have to take all of these text boxes and move them around piece by piece, right? I mean, I could group them all together, but that would also be really tedious and might be a little bit messy and probably not the most efficient way to do it. So here's what I did. I smartened up a little bit, and as a web developer, which I've done professionally for some time now for some different projects. I've done a lot of work with web development languages, the basic bread and butter of web development, which is HTML for the contents of the page, CSS, which works with the HTML language to style and change the look of what you've got on the page, and then JavaScript, which adds some action to the page. All right. So what I did was I went into Visual Studio Code, and I just created a quick little web page. And I'm not going to go through all the basics of it here, but I just had some different some I'm just going to show you a little bit of the code, but not like the entire process of the code. And what I did was, once I got this web page set up, this HTML code, and then I'll show you that you could do the styles, which is like the changes things like how the text looks, like how what's the font size, how much spacing between a certain part of the text. So that's like the margin top and margin bottom. Is it centered? Like the alignment and the justification. Does it have a border for like those letter boxes? I would draw squares for each letter box, and there would be like a border, a little black border around each box, and I determined how tall and how wide each box was, right? All of that was stuff that I created in this little program that I've got, right? Or this little web page, rather. All right. Um, and then I was able to go in and make um, some JSON uh, files for each puzzle, right? And then here you can see I've got like the puzzle title, description, the clue, the word, or the answer would be the word, and all of that, right? And now if I go into my web page for each of the puzzles, I can put in the name of the corresponding JSON files. So how to play, this is that one that I just showed you, the example that I filled out in Canva. That was the how do you play this game, right? And I have a how to play puzzle template here, puzzle file here in my code, right? If I run this website now, I'm just running this using something called live server. So what that does is let me run the website locally, right? Now, if I do that, I can automatically draw everything that I was trying to do in Canva. I can automatically do it in this web page, right? And it'll take care of all the spacing for me. I can put the example or the explanation text and the title and the copyright and all of that stuff. I can lay it out wherever I want just by changing some lines in the HTML file. And, I can do my input boxes here, and they're all evenly laid out because the computer is doing it for me. I just gave it some parameters as far as like the sizing and the spacing, and it's all taken care of. I don't have to like copy and paste an input box for each letter. It does it for me based on how many letters are each answer has in the puzzle file. And here's another thing. Check this out. I can change it to either show answers or not, right? So if I change show answers to be true and I save it, I reload it. Now I've got a printable version that has all the answers filled in, right? I didn't have to go to Canva and try to do all of this by hand anymore. All right. Then If I wanted to go back in Canva, because let me show you something else here. So this first example that I showed you, the how to play the game, this was what I did all by hand before I wrote out this HTML code, right? Now here's another one that I did called pop music, and this is all like a single PDF file, or really it was. This is actually the actual puzzle part with all of the content is an image file that I created, and the way I created it is, first of all, I went into the web page that I made, and let me change the file name. This was the pop music. Music.json. So, like I said, each puzzle has a corresponding JSON file, right? And if you don't know what JSON is, you should look it up. It's really useful for a lot of things. And I kind of gave away the answers here. Let me just go ahead and let me go ahead and change it to false. Um, but I went back and I automated this puzzle, and now what you can do is you can go to print, and you can save it as a PDF. All right. Then once you save it as a PDF, you can open that PDF if you want and bring it into Canva. You can upload files into Canva. Here on the site they got uploads. So you can upload the PDF, or if you want, sometimes the the lettering for some reason seemed to get a bit wonky or weirdly spaced when I brought in a PDF. So what I did was I opened the PDF in a browser and just took a screenshot and saved it as like a PNG image file and then uploaded that. So all of this is an image file. Okay. So now, if what I can do in Canva is if I wanted to, I could add elements like a border, things like that, So like here, for instance, there was a puzzle that I did where it had like some little decorative elements around it, right? So you could go in Canva and then add those little things, right? Or let me see, there was another one that I did where, okay, yeah, I did a Japanese puzzle, right? So then I just added like a nice little background to it, right? And I'm sure there's also ways that you can add that in the HTML as well, but I just haven't gotten that far with that yet. But this has made my life so much easier with doing these puzzles. Now, you still have to put in the work of like creating like the individual puzzle files, right? And of course, I had to do the work of creating the web page itself with the HTML coding and the JavaScript part and the CSS styling, right? And I might need to go back and change some of that too. But once I did that upfront work, it's really easy now for each puzzle to go and just automatically create those PDFs and then bring them into Canva and then compile them into a book. And that's what I ended up doing. I made a couple of little ebooks where each of them have 10 puzzles, right? And now this is all just the puzzles that I created using the website that I made, the web page that I made, right? And then bringing them into Canva. So it was, like I said, it's still a little bit tedious, but it has made my life so much easier because I certainly would not want to go through like 10 or really 20 puzzles because you got to do like the answers, the blank and the answers. I would not want to go back and have to do all of that by hand again. So, take home message here. I'm not doing this as a job for anybody else. I didn't get hired to do this, but it is a task that I was able to automate to a certain extent based on my knowledge of web development, right? And the other question is, well, won't AI do a lot of this stuff? Well, yeah, I'm sure you could probably come up with some prompts and sit down and try to figure out how to get AI to write like these code, this code for you to do the web page and whatnot. But um, for me, I think if you know how to do HTML and JavaScript and web development or whatever programming language you want to use, because you can use any programming language really, as long as you know how to output something to the screen. Sometimes, at least for me, I think it was just easier to just sit down and do it, right? And I also have more, I feel like I have more control over how everything turns out, right? Because I don't know even if you do like AI prompts, that's still it's really still like the actual coding is left up to the AI to do, right? So you can try that if you want, but I like I said, I still think this really proves how coding can just be a way to automate and make things easier for you in your daily life. If there are things like if you have to produce reports for work, or if you do like a lot of graphic design, or maybe you do invitations or something that has like a template that you can kind of copy or use again, but just with different content. So just something to think about. I wanted to share that with you. Just another benefit that I've found for being able to use code as a daily useful skill for your everyday life. All right. If you want to check out the puzzles, because like I said, I made two books with this. You can go to, I've got Ko-Fi, a Ko-Fi page, and I think you can, um, let's see, Ko-Fi, uh, Cloudy Heaven Games. Uh, yeah, so I do have a Ko-Fi page where you can get the puzzles, and there's the first one here is free. So you can just download it if you want to see the puzzles and give them a try. And then there's another puzzle pack there too in the shop. So, okay, great. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, or know of any other ways that you can or have automated things for yourself with code, please do share. Otherwise, I will close out and wish you all a great rest of your day. All right. Thanks again, guys. See you in the next video.